Hello guys, Schizo Saint here. I promised my community I would make this rifle roast video about a month and a half ago, and in good Schizo Saint timing, here I am recording this video. I'm a little rusty, not gonna lie. I don't know my AR-15 parts as well as I used to because a certain brown YouTuber has brought me to the dark side and into loving the AK platform, so it's really kind of been my focus lately. So we're not really going to get too into the nitty-gritty on parts. We're mostly going to be looking at the rifles, judging them aesthetically, judging them on, like, are there any parts on these guns that are just obviously useless, and what can be done to make the guns better. I've forgotten whose guns are whose since I took these pictures from my community so long ago. Don't take this too personally, guys. I want everyone to succeed. I want everyone to have the best AR-15 possible, or just the best rifle possible. Things continue to get more uncertain and scary in the United States, and you guys deserve to have the best guns that you can get, and so I'll use my very humble level of knowledge and understanding to hopefully help you guys direct you in a direction that you need to go. Our first submission here, we've got both a handgun and an AR-15. We've already got a problem. We've got a 6-hour P320. I believe that's a Wilson Combat Grip. Here's the thing, guys. Do I even need to say anything about this? Like, you know, even if you do prefer the grip angle of a P320, even if you do prefer the ergonomics of a P320, there are still going to be much better handguns that you can get for that same price. It's just such a risk. I would never get a P320 anything, or for probably forever. Even if they do fix them, it's just not worth that hassle and that little bit of uncertainty that you might have an awful handgun. I would just dump this immediately, trade it in for something cool. If you don't want to be a Glock guy, get a CZ P09. You know, get a CZ handguns. Those are great. Those are really cool. They're just as good as Glocks, functionally speaking, and they're different and unique. If you want to be cool and unique, you know, don't get a SIG. Get literally anything else. We'll move on from that, though, and let's look at this rifle. This rifle's great. I can already tell by looking at it that it's probably about 7 pounds. It's an extremely lightweight weapon. Problem, though, it does not have a weapon light. Okay, weapon lights are important because a lot of awful things happen at night, and if you are defending your life, chances are it is at night. Statistically speaking, you're more likely to defend your life at night than during the day, so it makes sense to have a weapon light on as many guns as possible. So the lack of a weapon light here is concerning. If I'm this gentleman, I would invest 120 bucks into a stream light, put it on and call it good. You do not need to get a Surefire. Stream lights are completely adequate. This rail is kind of fun. You've got like the 7-sided M-lock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7-sided M-lock. So that's kind of nice. You can put your light in a bunch of different places, so take advantage of that. We've got these iron sights here. I can't quite tell what they are, but I mean, they look good enough. Honestly, though, I don't know why you would run just iron sights when you could run a very cheap red dot from Hollow Sun or Primary Arms. Those are completely adequate. Obviously, you guys know me. I really love prism optics. But even with that, even if you don't want to get into a prism optic, you can get a Vortex Strike Eagle for under 300 bucks now. The Primary Arms LPVOs, they've got some cheap ones that are probably just fine. So, I mean, I don't see any reason to run just iron sights unless you're going for like an ultralight rifle that you can backpack into the backcountry with, which is something I understand. The stock here, this is the Magpul MOE SL, I think is what it is. We've got a standard MOE grip. Not my cup of tea, but whatever. Works totally fine. The stock works also totally fine. The only thing about this gun I don't like, really, other than the lack of certain accessories, is going to be this, an extended, I've never seen one of these in the wild before, an extended magazine release. Unless you have absolutely tiny fingers, I don't think there's really any reason to get that. It looks like a part that would just fall off. I remember my first AR-15, I had a very similar accessory called the Magpul Bad Lever, which I think we've seen before on the show. And it fell off my first range day because I didn't install it properly. So, I mean, I don't really know what that's about. It looks kind of pointless to me. Overall, though, I mean, we've got a sling. This is a totally functional rifle. Just needs a little bit more accessorization to bring it up to speed, in my opinion. But overall, certainly not bad, but get rid of this as fast as you can. let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Okay, I've been looking forward to this. This is a lot of fun. So this is an M14 SOCOM. I believe this is the 18-inch barrel variant, but I'm sure someone will correct me if that is not true. This is the most wacky gun that I can remember seeing in a long time. We've got a laser aiming module in front of a, now it's a blurry picture, but it looks like a SIG Romeo 5 knockoff optic. And then that's all on a $1,700 gun. I'm sure this is a rifle that's more of a range toy than like anything anyone would actually grab, you know, if someone's like breaking into your house or if your neighborhood's under attack or whatever. This certainly wouldn't be my first go-to. But the question is why? Like, what's even the point? I mean, this whole gun setup is going to cost around $2,000 for a range toy. You know, part of the show, stealthily, I'm trying to give you guys financial advice as well, like get the most out of your money. This is certainly not what I would do if I had an M1. If I had an M1A, the first thing I would do is I would take it to like a boomer range, like a very controlled range, just so I can see if it's worth getting a good scope for. Because it's possible you have one of those M1As that has like a 10 MOA gun. That's a 5 MOA gun. That's just insanely inaccurate. So you want to get a feel for your M1. See if it's an M1 that you can take out to range. Because if you can, now it's time with this specific model, I would get something like a scout scope. Scout scopes kind of suck, but you're not interfering with the action at all. And they do make some okay ones. So that's probably what I would get if this gun was accurate and worth putting a good scope on. If it's not accurate, then, you know, maybe just sticking to it with a red dot is fine. That would make sense. It would still be a rifle that you could use within 100 yards fairly effectively. So, you know, certainly not, I guess, the worst choice, but it's just, this is such a wacky gun to begin with. Like, why are we getting a 16 or 18 inch M1A in the first place? You know, I just don't understand. The only reason in my mind to go to 308 is for the additional range. And so if you're not going to put a magnified optic on it to take advantage of that, I just simply don't get it. But maybe that's just me. You know, I don't know. This is, I guess, kind of like a more modern Black Hawk Down M14, I guess. The sling, I have no idea. On first glance, it looks like a more cheap sling. So we've got like a $10 sling, an $80 red dot, and then, I mean, a laser aiming module can be anywhere between like $80 to like $1,000, depending on if you get an airsoft one or not. And then that's all on, you know, a $1,500, $1,600, $1,700 rifle. So, I mean, I don't know. A lot of weird decisions led to this rifle's creation. I personally don't like it. Don't get me wrong. It looks like it'd be a lot of fun to shoot. But if we're talking about long-term use in some kind of, I mean, survival situation is kind of a cringy phrase, but you know what I mean. In some kind of long-term WROL situation, certainly not my first choice. So if I'm this gentleman, see if it's worth putting a scout scope on it. If it is, great, make this into a little DMR. If it's not, then like get rid of the lamb and just put a red dot on it and just have fun with it. So that's what I would do. Or just sell it all and build out an AR-10, which is probably the right move. So anyway, let's move on to the next one. Okay, now this I really enjoy. We've got an EOTech 5 Series EOTech. That's either the 512 or the 512, both of which are great. We've got an EOTech magnifier on the back, which is awesome. Listen, EOTechs, compared to an aim point, you know, they have a lot of flaws. They're not as durable as aim points. They don't have the same battery life as an aim point. They're more expensive than an aim point of the same weight. But the glass clarity and the ability to have a holographic optic, which is going to be a lot better under magnification, depending on who you are, that's a good trade-off. And I've actually been looking at getting an EOTech for my Draco potentially. I really enjoy having the ACOG on the Draco. But I think having an EOTech on it would be sweet as well. So I really enjoy this optics, really enjoy this optics setup quite a bit. Now, it looks like we might have our first problem. Let's zoom in here. Freaking boomer schizo over here. Yeah, what am I looking at? What's that brand? Can anyone tell what this is? Kind of hard to say. Cloud Defensive, I believe is what that is. That's an expensive light, if that's what it is. I don't understand putting that much money into a flashlight. I've been doing a lot of night hikes lately with a buddy of mine out in the desert, and he has a $100 stream light. I've got an $80 stream light, and they both work very, very well. We're able to punch the lights out very far. So I don't see the point personally, unless you're getting an IR light as well. I don't really see the point in investing a ton of money into a weapon light. So certainly not a bad light. It's just, I don't know if it's the best use of cash. I don't think it's the most efficient, but that light will work. So that's the good news. We've got a basic Magpul grip, and he's actually using the lubricant hole, the lube hole, the famous Magpul patent pending lube hole from Magpul. Very nice. I love a good lube hole on my AR-15. Absolutely spectacular. This is sweet too, actually. This is unironically pretty dope. We've got like a bag back here for like all these like little tools and stuff that you might need to work on your AR. I actually really think that's sweet. I've been looking at getting something like that for my AK. We've got the newer Magpul stock. That's basically just the CTR stock, but with just one button. I'm sure that's great. It looks like the sling's pretty good. I can't really tell the brand, but you know, I'm assuming, listen, if you're going to drop $200, $300, $400 on a weapon light, you're probably going to spend some decent money on a sling as well. We've got a tape switch here. So overall, this is a really nice rifle. I mean, this is a guy, I'm assuming he uses his rifle quite a bit. If you're putting like something like this on your gun, that kind of signals to me that you kind of know what you're doing. That you know what you need and what you don't need, what's hype, what's not hype. I really do enjoy this quite a bit. So overall, this is very good. Yeah, not bad at all. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Okay, here we go. We've got our first AK, one of the first AKs on the show. I know we've had AKs before, but this one is awesome. We got the, forgive my mispronunciation, the Boer Wars rail, whatever the freaking hell it's called. It's one of those, or it's either that or the Sure Shot. I get those two mixed up a lot. Either way, very, very cool. As we all know, Zeniko stuff's very hard to get, and when you can find it, it's way too overpriced, so getting something like this is awesome. We've got, I believe that's the Romeo 7S, which is basically the Comp M5. Funny enough, I've heard this red dot's actually better brightness-wise than an Aimpoint Comp M5. I don't know if that's true, but it'd be funny if it was true. The only product SIG makes that I will ever buy is their red dot sights, so that's certainly not a bad choice at all. I think it looks good too. He got the tan one for his tan furniture. I mean, that's pretty nice. I can appreciate a gentleman looking to match the colors. He's got the fixed Magpul stock, which is totally fine. I've heard that's much better than the folding Magpul stock. He's got the Magpul K2 grip for the AK. That's exactly what I have on my Draco build. Another great grip. It's got a Magpul AK mag, which is a little sketchy. I personally wouldn't use these. I've just heard too many bad things about them. And what's great about the gun community in America is you've got so many people spending so much money, testing so many different things, that people can figure out what's good and what's not good fairly quickly. That's kind of how we all figured out the P320 sucks, right? So personally, if I'm this gentleman, if you want to stick with cheap mags, I have US Palm mags. You can also get WBP mags for really cheap. So if you want cheap mags, there's better brands than Magpul to get. He's got a Magpul AFG on it, which is great as well. With these AKs, they get front heavy, so you do see a lot of VFGs on AKs. Really sweet 74 adjacent brake, really cool. Overall, this is great. I don't know the make of this specific AK, but as long as it's not made by PSA, it's probably works very well. I will say, one big problem with this gun, it's way too clean. Okay, I want to see some leaves stuck in the M-LOK rails. I want to see some dirt around the dust cover, all right? So this gentleman, what I would say to him is, well, and also you need a light. So get a stream light, throw it on. I don't know if they make them in tan, but that's a sacrifice you're going to have to make. Get a stream light, throw it on, and then go shoot your gun, dude. Go hiking with your rifle if you can. You know, go to the woods. Run around, throw it against a tree, throw it against a rock, see what happens, see what breaks, and then replace it. You know, that's one of the best parts of owning a gun, is all the adventures you can have out in the woods, LARPing as a Red Dawn dude. So, overall, though, I really do like this rifle. Also, one more thing, though. AAC 7.62x39, my AAC ammunition was keyholing. So, yeah, I'm not going to be buying AAC ever again, probably. Probably just going to have to pay a little bit more to buy local. So, but other than that, though, great gun. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Okay, we will not spend a lot of time on this because there's not really much to go over. This is just a really basic M16 build, and I love it a lot. I think it's really cool. Just my thoughts on guns like this. I don't think there's anything wrong with owning a gun like this. This is a very simple rifle. This is a great rifle to, like, if you were introducing someone to the AR-15 platform, something like this, you're going to be able to teach them all the fundamentals of the rifle. And it's really long, and longer guns, at least this is just in my experience, it's safer to teach someone with a long gun how to shoot than someone with a short gun. Reason being is that short guns, it's a lot easier to point them in the wrong direction. So having a long, heavy barrel, it's going to make you safer. It's going to make the person you're teaching safer. So if you're introducing someone into shooting the AR-15, something like this is great. You get to teach them the fundamentals of using an iron sight, and knowing how to use an iron sight effectively will make you better at using a red dot or a normal scope effectively. You understand basic principles. So yeah, something like this is awesome. It's a great training tool. And could you use this to defend yourself? Absolutely. Obviously. I mean, there's tens of thousands of M16s like this currently in use. Not exactly like this, obviously, but sort of bare bones M16s in use in our country and all over the world. So great gun, great rifle. I'm sure it works awesome. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Okay, this thing is freaking dope. I love this. First of all, you can tell this gun is used a lot. It's all kind of beat up. He spray painted it. Whoever's this is. This is great. Really cool rail. Is this a Geisley? Maybe I'm retarded. Maybe this isn't a Geisley rail. I want to say this is a Geisley rail, but I could be wrong. Either way, the rail looks dope. We've got the side. What the frick are these called? Flip to side? That's not true. That's not what these are freaking called. I always forget what these are called. Offset. There we go. Offset iron sights, which are great. Kind of an expensive upgrade. So you're not going to catch me with those, but I mean, if you can afford to throw them on, certainly not a bad choice. We've got, I believe this is either a Streamlight or a Surefire and a clamp, which I've been doing this for years, and even though it's kind of looked down upon, there's really no functional reason to hate on these. I mean, this works totally fine. So it's a cheap way and an effective way to get a good light on your rifle. So nothing wrong with that. We got another Romeo 7S. This is a theme, this video. Really sweet. I'm sure it works great. I'm not quite sure which magnifier this is. I want to say it's the frickin' Aimpoint one. I could be wrong, though. It also looks like some of the cheaper magnifiers on Amazon. And you always want to be really careful with these Amazon optics. If you're going to buy one, you have to do your part and really just like test it. You know, you really got to do your part on just like drilling it. Let me see here. Let me Google it real quick. Yeah, so that's not the Aimpoint magnifier. So I don't quite know which magnifier this is. Someone will, I'm sure, will tell me in the comments. It's probably a cheaper one because you wouldn't put like an EOTech behind a Romeo 7. So, you know, let me know in the comments, and if this is your gun, let me know if the magnifier actually works. That'd be nice for the rest of us to know. Because if a cheap optic's going to work, it would make sense that a cheap magnifier would work because there's not as much crap to ruin. So that would make sense. We've also got an interesting charging handle back here. It's not a Radian, but it does look to be extended, which does make sense. If you ever get like a big scope on the back of your AR, you generally are going to want a bigger charging handle, so that makes a lot of sense. We've got just a, oh, is that a B5 stock? Boo! Gay. Awful, horrific, F, absolutely terrible. I believe that's a Magpul grip, so that's good. Arrow precision lower, whatever. And then he's got, this is probably the Schmid trigger that we see all the time. Other companies will buy Schmid triggers and rebrand them. BCM has them, Arrow has them, PSA has them. They're all the same thing. You can buy them directly from Schmid for like $35. So if you want to get a really good trigger for your AR, something that's better than mil-spec, this is the move. We've got, for whatever reason, people throw such a fit about this. I don't even know if it matters, but he's got like anti-rotation, I'm blanking on the word. Anti-rotation pins on there. Okay, cool. This is sweet. He's got the ambidextrous bolt release. That's pretty freaking cool. I've always wanted to do that because the Radians have them, and it just looks so sweet. That's actually really cool. I bet that's actually a really nice upgrade. Again, if this is your rifle, let me know in the comments. This is a gun that does get shot a lot. As you can tell, this part is damaged on the rifle, so he does shoot it quite a bit, which is great. I love to see that. Overall, really cool gun. Really nice rifle, except for the B5. I mean, this is unforgivable. I mean, what are we doing? B5? What are we, gay? What is this, Pride Month? Oh, it is June, I guess. So, yeah, I guess it is Pride Month. So this rifle's right at home with that B5 stock. Absolutely unforgivable. Let's move on to the next gun. Okay, am I in heaven or something? I think this rifle's been on this video series before. So let's go ahead. First of all, B5 stock, already a failure. I don't even care about the rest of this gun. This gun sucks. It's terrible. B5 grip, too. Now, see, that's bad. You're also going to have a B5 grip. I mean, what is wrong with you? Magpul AFG, so I guess that's fine. We've got, it looks like a Streamlight. I could be wrong, though, but that does look like a Streamlight. We've got a suppressor on here. I'm not rich enough to have a suppressor yet, so I'm not quite sure what suppressor this is. In my mind, even a cheap suppressor is really cool. So good for you. Whatever suppressors this is, that is awesome. I'm a really big advocate for suppressors if you can afford them. I mean, the ability to just give away your position a little less quickly than you would normally give away your position, I think, is always great. So I really do like that a lot. This rail looks really nice. I believe this is either the BCM or the Criterion. Oh, yep, it's the Criterion. Yep, right there. See that? See the arrow logo? I've always wanted a Criterion rail. Or, is it Centurion or Criterion? I get them mixed up. I think it's Centurion. I don't know. Either way, really cool. Like the sort of wrap around of FSB. So sweet, man. It looks so good. And then, of course, absolutely goated optic. As you guys know, I have recently joined ACOG gang, and the hype is real. I have a TAO1 with dead tritium, so it's not as good as this one. This one's got the fiber optic, so he definitely has some kind of illumination. I noticed he doesn't have any tape over it, which is kind of interesting, because most of these that get used a lot, they end up getting tape over them, so that way they can control the amount of illumination they have. If this is your rifle, let me know why you don't have that tape. Let us know if you just don't need it, or if you don't go shooting enough because you're a pleb. We've got the anti-reflection device, which is great. I think that also makes the whole optic look cooler. I don't know. It's covered up, so this might be an RMR. It might be a Holosun. Either way, either one works. The Holosun red dots are great, so nothing wrong with using that. I know it's a little weird putting a Holosun on an RMR plate on an ACOG. I know it's a little weird, but whatever works, right? We've definitely got an extended charging handle. I can't tell from this angle what it is. He's got, of course, ATH and then a little logo on his rifle. He's got writings on his receiver. That'll make him look really good in court. You want to make the judge love you in your self-defense shooting? Make sure you've got schizophrenic ramblings on the side of your AR-15. That'll make you look really good to the judge. So, overall, though, what a good gun. And we got a dog. Oh, my gosh. Hell yeah, dude. Cats are so gay. I know there's a push in the gun community from Hop and from Brass to make, cats cool. Cats are not cool, okay? The only thing keeping a cat from killing you is the fact that you're bigger than them, okay? Cats are not your friend. Dogs are your friends. There's no cave paintings of pet cats, okay? But we've got thousands of cave paintings of dogs for a reason. That's because they're man's best friend as ordained by God. So overall, great picture, great rifle. Let's move on. So this is a pretty neat carbine here. Let's go ahead and start with the optics stack. So I believe this is a Vortex Strike Eagle with a primary arms red dot on top. The only reason to do this is if you're using night vision, as far as I understand. I don't even know if this individual has night vision. If they don't have night vision, this kind of doesn't make any sense, because the whole point of an LPVO is you have a 1X that mimics a red dot. So that doesn't quite add up to me. But if he has nods, I guess that would make sense. You have an LPVO for really good day shooting, the red dot for night. So that's cool, I guess. I'm ignorant of laser aiming devices. I don't know which one this is or if it is any good. But obviously, once I get into night vision, I'm sure I'll be very autistic and know more about it than I need to. We've got an AFG here. I imagine to position his hand in a good place to use this button for his lamb. So that's sweet. Interesting muzzle device. This looks like a cheaper muzzle device. I wonder if this is superior to the A2 birdcage for use with nods, because you don't want the flash, triggering your auto gating or whatever on your nods. So I wonder if this gentleman has found this little blast can to be better than a flash hider. If not, there's no reason to not have a flash hider. So interested to see his thoughts on that in the comments if he watches this video. We got a really sweet sling here. This looks like I don't think it's Blue Force, actually. It might be a homemade sling, because I believe this individual makes his own slings, which is great, because I bought one and it works great. We've got a Lancer mag, which is so gay. I mean, unbelievable. What are we on, Reddit? Radian charging handle, awesome, very cool. And then, of course, an SBA 3 brace, which hopefully none of us need to use here in a few months if the big, beautiful bill passes. I do not want that bill to pass, but at least I wouldn't need to put a stupid brace on my Draco anymore. So overall, though, certainly not a bad gun at all. I mean, clearly this individual shoots under nods. He knows what he wants. He knows what he needs. The only thing I would say is, I think this gentleman does shoot quite a bit. I would love to see some more paint being scratched, some more use out of this gun. Overall, certainly not a bad gun, though. Clearly, this gentleman knows what he's doing. So, very good. I believe that is the last rifle, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this, learned something, got something out of this. If you think I'm dead wrong, if you want to complain and call me mean names, the comment sections are wide open. Help me out in the algorithm there. If you guys want to support the channel, head on over to Civilian Expedition Outfitters in the description and get yourself a little sticker. I recently put one of the stickers on discounted, very, very discounted, because there is a spelling error, and apparently I have a high school diploma, but you would never know it. So go check that out, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day.